One of the things that has been driving me absolutely up the wall since the 2020 election, since November 3rd, 2020, is the fact that these lies being pushed by Donald Trump, being pushed by other members of the Republican Party, pushed by his attorney, most of these lies about election fraud and election theft are not unique to Donald Trump, and they're not unique to the 2020 presidential election. Now, through my work over at Ring of Fire, for almost 17 years, we have been talking about the big lies being pushed by the Republican Party with regards to voter fraud and why they push those lies. And I think all of that bears repeating again right now because most of the public is oblivious to this. Most of the public watched these last 2.5 months unfold with Trump claiming it was stolen, believing that this was a Trumpian thing. No, folks, this is a Republican thing. Donald Trump just amped it up a little more than what we're used to and threw in some wacky conspiracy theories via his lawyers throughout the episode. For years, Republicans have been telling us that dead people are voting, that Democrats are having your dead relatives go and vote for Democrats. There's never been any evidence to suggest this. They're telling us that people are voting twice. They're going in, voting for a Democrat, maybe going back outside, putting on a hat or maybe a fake mustache, voting again. And I'm not making this up. These are literally claims that we have discussed over the years. Again, over at Ring of Fire, we have talked to the best of the best, the people on top of this. Brad Friedman, Greg Palast, Ari Berman, all of them have been doing phenomenal work on this. We've talked about the problem with voting machines, which has nothing to do with the problems that Donald Trump claimed to have happened, that his lawyers are now being sued each $1.3 billion for perpetuating. The real problem with voting machines is how easily hackable they are, how unreliable they are, and the fact that they do not necessarily, in most areas, give you a paper receipt. And every time they malfunction, it always seems to benefit the Republicans. So that's a little odd, right? We have talked about the political donations that these voting machine companies make, Diebold, ES&S, mostly going to Republicans. I wonder why that is. But the reason all of these lies have been spread for decades, long before, before Trump even called himself a Republican, is because Republicans know that if they spread the lie enough, if they tell enough different lies and it sticks with the public, then the public is more than willing to go along with their plans to help suppress the vote under the guise of rooting out fraud. It's never been about rooting out fraud because you're more likely to get struck by lightning on the way to the polls than you are to actually witness in-person voter fraud. So they pass these laws to keep people away from the polls. They pass these laws to suppress the vote. They tell these lies so they can make it to where fewer people are allowed to vote. That is what is at the heart of all of this. Donald Trump just saw what the Republicans had been doing for years and years and years, and he took it and applied it to his situation. That's what we witnessed. That's what took place since November, and it's not going to stop. We already saw it in the Georgia runoff elections, January 5th. They used some of Donald Trump's claims to try to shut down polling places, to make it harder for people to vote under the guise of we got to root out the fraud. So don't think that all this goes away because we're already seeing it. We already saw it this month happen again. They use those same lies to try to suppress voters, and it's always overwhelmingly to suppress black and brown voters here in the United States. It doesn't end with Trump. If anything, it's going to get a lot worse from this point forward.